Kingsman: The Secret Service is a spy action comedy film and stars Colin Firth and Samuel L. Jackson. Before I begin, as you can see, I have invited a special guest of mine to come back on the channel. So once again, my best friend Mitchell will be guest reviewing. However, unlike the previous time Mitchell was on this channel, where he talked about Batman v Superman, we'll both be talking about the same movie together. So basically what we're going to do is talk about 3 different points: story, character, and visual and action. And then we'll overall sum it up and give you our final thoughts. So let's jump into it. What did you think of the story?
The story was very typical, yet had new ideas to make it unique from any other spy film I've seen.
Yeah, I thought for the most part the story was fun, a bit silly, and we have kind of seen it before, but it did try something different. Like, the villain's plan was unique, and like, yeah, just a different. I did like some of the story arcs for some of the characters. Like, surprisingly, I very much liked the Eggsy character story arc as just basically, you know, like, he was destined for great things, however his stepdad was the big reason why he didn't do any of those things. And even the story of the villain's big plan is also very interesting.
It really brings a lot of allusions to real-world security and how at any moment someone could just instantly hack into your own devices, and it does bring in that idea of privacy, and even to the extent of your own mind.
It's also amusing that Barack Obama is secretly evil. Because I like the thing how Samuel L. Jackson's character has corrupted all the big names in politics and basically has made them join his side. And basically, the villain's plot, for those who don't know, is basically he hopes to, like, solve the world's population problem, as there are too many people in the world, and what he plans to do is to save all the deserving people and basically, you know, kill off everyone else in the most amusing way possible. We'll talk about that when we get to action, but overall, I did like the story. However, if I was to label one thing I didn't like about the story, is the film didn't take itself seriously, as it did make fun of the fact that they were basically making fun of James Bond, which I didn't think it need to.
Well, I wouldn't specifically agree with that, because I always thought the tone of the film was to sort of make fun of the sort of spy genre in general. Like, we also had the movie Spy come out that year as well, doing pretty much the same thing. And having a non-serious story just allows us to enjoy with the film itself about all these tropes that are in spy movies.
Yeah, but the thing that I did like more about this film was it did stuff that was actually good, and you know, at points it did take itself seriously. Like, the action was good, the story was good, the characters are all good. Alright, so let's jump into characters. What did you think of the main protagonist himself?
The main protagonist definitely started out as a sort of typical English young lad who's just trying to have a bit of fun. Then it alludes to his abilities. We get a nice amount of development before they throw him into the whole spy genre, and really shows a whole story about environment and upbringing that can influence himself.
Yeah, I personally liked Taron Egerton as Eggsy, as I liked how, you know, like, he gives a memorable performance. What did you think of Colin Firth's character? Because in my opinion, I feel like this is the most badass performance he's ever done. Instead of playing a typical British snob, he plays a badass British agent.
Yeah, Colin Firth has always shown himself to be a brilliant actor in movies such as A Single Man and The King's Speech. And here it shows that he can be in a lot of action spy movies, and it's also quite astounding at his age how he can sort of keep up in the action with a lot of the other younger actors.
Yeah, well, and before we move on to action and visual, we'll talk about one more character, and that's Samuel L. Jackson as the villain. This was the best part of the film, because, you know, like, Samuel L. Jackson, whether it's a bad role or a good role, he's still entertaining in whatever role he does, and it's no difference here. Here he completely plays a great villain who's funny, intimidating, and, you know, has a great villain plan as well. And like, this villain definitely made up a lot of the film. And like, whenever he was in any of the scenes, I would laugh my ass off. Like, one of the best scenes between, like, Colin Firth's character and Samuel L. Jackson's character is when they're having dinner together, and just like they get served McDonald's. And some of that, and like, immediately that was funny. And what would have made that scene better if Samuel L. Jackson just said, in France they call a quarter pounder Royale with cheese. That would have been perfect. Although I'm happy with the scene we got, and it was funny.
Yeah, the allusion to that inside joke sort of definitely got a laugh out of us, as we definitely knew where that came from.
Yeah, we laughed our asses off. As we are both big film fans, and of course we got the reference. Although we do wish he would have said it, because it was right there. It was the perfect time to say it. Although Samuel Jackson McDonald's, for those who've ever seen Pulp Fiction, if you can tie the two together, it would have been funny that way.
Yeah, it probably would have been better if it was Colin Firth who said it, so that way it wasn't like instantly just Samuel Jackson bringing it back. It's more brought around.
Yeah, but then Colin Firth did, like, at the end of the dinner, just say, "Thank you so much for a happy meal." That was funny. Alright, so we'll move on to one final point, and that is the action and visuals. And for the most part, I thought the action scenes were, well choreographed and also well shot.
And the other thing is that the director also worked on stuff such as X-Men First Class and
Kick-Ass as well.
Movies that have a lot of great comedic action entwined with them.
Yeah, and a filmmaker who's also made great films as well. And this filmmaker hasn't really made any bad films that have really disappointed us. And definitely, I think there was some doubt about what this director could deliver, because apparently this is based on a graphic novel that that's a weak adaptation, and a lot of things from the graphic novel and the film are different from each other. The director did a good enough adaptation, even though it wasn't true to its original source material. And I remember when me and Mitchell went to go see this for the first time, there was either this or 50 Shades of Grey, and it was clearly obvious what we saw, and we loved Kingsman. And because Kingsman was, unlike 50 Shades of Grey, was better directed, better told, had great characters, and was really entertaining, and we had a better time with this than 50 Shades of Grey if we saw it, which we didn't. And one more thing before we wrap this up is the visual effects. And while at some points you could tell, oh, that looks fake, to me this film is one of those rare cases where I don't care if the visual effects are not that great. This film was too entertaining for me to oh, this is fake, I hate it because that car crash looks fake. This is one of the rare cases where I just I don't care. This film was fun. I can forgive this film for any weak special effects. Alright, so now we're gonna just wrap it up in overall opinion. So Mitchell, what did you think of this film?
As much as I have talked about how great it was, it is a 7 out of 10 for me, because it's a very silly movie, but that's to its advantage. I don't think it might be somewhere close to an 8, but for me it's a 7.
Fair enough. I would say this is not a perfect movie. It's a good movie, and there are a lot of stuff I liked about the action's good, characters good, story's good, general stuff like that. Visual effects at points can be a bit. I don't think that's real, but to me it's one of those points where I don't care if it looked fake or not. It was a fun movie, and only real gripe I could say is I wish this film took itself more seriously, and because I hated how it was saying how oh, we're making fun of James Bond and Jason Bourne because we're kind of the same thing. And yeah, it was a good movie. I'd still recommend it. It's a fun movie, and I'm going to give this film an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching. I'm NETX5, and this is Mitchell.
Hi.
If you like what you see, be sure to like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. As always, I'm NETX5, and guest reviewing for a second time was Mitchell. Thank you for watching.